Hey y'all. So yeah, this is going to be part 2 of my 12 laws of the universe video. And if you guys have not seen the first one, y'all can just go ahead and look right here. I'm going to try to insert a card or something to where you all can click it or whatever. And I hope that you all have been enjoying this video. I love the laws of the universe, and the great thing about it is when you first start learning about this, you start realizing how to apply these laws to your life. And the more you consciously try to choose how to apply them in your life, in different areas of your life, it comes to you more naturally. And then it's just all about being, okay? Which is amazing. So I believe that we did leave off on, yes, the law of perpetual transmutation of energy, okay? So that's just like the constant flow, right? Now, let's go ahead and get to this one. So this is going to be the law of cause and effect. Every action has a reaction. What you put out, what you get back. Karma in motion. Exactly. And so this is exactly why it is so important, especially when working on your mindset. Now, this is something that I wish I would have learned sooner. When you are working on yourself and when you are trying to elevate and ascend out of lower frequency situations, low vibrational people, things like that, do not engage. Do not react. Especially do not react emotionally. One thing I've learned as I've ascended and as I have evolved into who I am now, I have really truly learned that arguing with people and participating in their toxic dynamics is literally like a huge waste of time. It's a waste of energy. And to be honest, if you withdraw yourself first from someone trying to target you with conflict or an issue or an argument or friction or whatever it is, so what you do is you leave that dynamic open to collapse, okay? And we talked about this, the quantum collapse, right? And not only do you allow that to collapse, but you actually allow that whoever it was that was like coming at you or bringing you some mess, they expose themselves. They do not need your response. They do not need your reaction. They do not need you to explain yourself. They don't need it. It doesn't need your energy, your awareness. That's the whole reason they're doing it anyway. They're trying to siphon your energy in that negative, toxic way. Don't give it, okay? Because it will all bounce back. And I can actually talk to you guys more in depth about this at like a later time, because I had an experience not too long ago to where I had to completely unplug from a horrible toxic dynamic. And it was a rough choice, but I knew exactly what I was walking away from, and I knew exactly what I had at stake. But to be honest, when I chose self and prioritized self like this effortlessly and this dominantly, and then when I reviewed, I literally sat in stillness with this. I sat in stillness, and it came to me that I had to just stop interacting, stop engaging completely, because even trying to not react and even keeping my engagement to a minimum was still keeping that whole toxic dynamic, that whole loop alive. Absolutely not. There is no room for disrespect in my reality. There is no room for toxic dynamics in my reality. I have done too much work. I have ascended way too much. I have overcame way too much. I deserve so much more, and I have given it to myself. I do not care to over-explain myself to anyone. I have completely lost interest in arguing with anyone. I have completely lost interest in giving my awareness and my energy to past people or circumstances that have tried to hold things over me, that have tried to weaponize very, very deep, intimate, and precious things against me, I don't care. I will walk away from it all, and you will understand when you look back that, damn, maybe I shouldn't have done that, because the way that I've evolved, this is why I made my short, like the little video about frequency. It is so true that when you elevate to a certain point in life, you literally vibrate out of people's lower frequency, and you allow that shit to collapse and expose and do whatever it's going to do to itself. And all you did was walk away. And when people can't access you anymore, or siphon your energy anymore, or siphon the kind of reactions that they used to get out of you anymore, then they're going to realize where they fucked up. And that's all a part of that whole karma cycle of when they fall out, and then they have no choice but to show back up and reflect your better self-concept better, right? Because it's the law. It's the literal universal law. Okay, they have to. It's energetics, it's spirituality, it's everything. It's the law of being. Okay, and so this is why I say, when you are working on yourself, cut off all access from those dynamics. Work on self. Work on mindset. I mean, change what you're consuming. Okay, so you're not over here consuming the limiting beliefs. Change what you're doing about your day. Fill your day more with what you enjoy and what you love, and what makes you you. And I promise you will see such a positive change. The law of compensation. The universe always balances things out. You are rewarded for your efforts, energy, and intentions in perfect measure. So I will say that the law of compensation, our universe is ever loving, ever giving, always. And it always wants to work with us, okay? It's always trying to give us what we want. However, it's not literal, right? Who are you being when you are wanting certain things? Who are you being? I'm going to make another video, because this is going to coincide with this, and it's going to be the law of being. Who are you being when you're participating in those lower vibrational dynamics, but you're wanting a more positive, fruitful, healthy, loving, abundant life, right? Who exactly are you being when you are living in contrast? Okay, the universe cannot grant you what you want when you are still unfulfilled within. You know what I mean? But when you start doing this work and you start making efforts to improve yourself, to improve your state of being, your state of mind, your identity, and really, really, really being intentional with all the work that you're doing all around, and practicing gratitude and being grateful and living in peace and living in fulfillment, you're going to start being rewarded almost immediately. It's wild. And I noticed this in my own life by noticing and appreciating and being grateful for the little things. The little things. When I am able to get the time to actually order in my Starbucks, sometimes I have to hop in the car and go, whatever. And y'all know how I've always loved to have my Starbucks delivered or whatever. I mean, either way I get it, but I do still cherish getting it delivered and being able to have it in bed when I can. Like, for me, that's like super major, especially because, mommy life, super busy, whatever. Like, it takes a while, right? But when I do still have like my Starbucks delivered and everything like that, I cherish it, right? And I'm so grateful for it. And then also when I, practice gratitude by noticing little things in my life, like I noticed even just today, I organized my jewelry box and my jewelry box is full. And I literally just bought my jewelry box not too long ago because I'm like, oh yeah, I have some jewelry laying around. I should like get me a new jewelry box, and it's full. I didn't even realize it was full because I've been kind of like changing like my wardrobe and just like everything, girl. You girl's just like doing her style. And I'm like, damn, I didn't even realize that I had this much jewelry already, even though I've been switching things up, style-wise. Little things like that. You are going to start noticing little signs of abundance, little signs of compensation. People wanting to treat you, people wanting to take you out. all the time, especially like if you're dating and all that. The way people just prioritize you, especially if one of your affirmations is, I am always prioritized, I am always loved, I am this, I am that, I am this, right? You are going to start seeing it almost instantly reflected in your reality. But I'm telling you, take the time to stop and smell the roses. You can't, be grateful for the big stuff or so focused on like the bigger things you're trying to manifest or create change in when you are not being appreciative of the life that's right in front of you that's always been ever giving. You know what I mean? Like, it's always been there for you. And these are things that we may take for granted, that we may overlook, that we might, think are something small. But if you really think about your life, you're going to see how fruitful and abundant and honestly wealthy in so many different ways you've always been. You just weren't focused on it, or maybe you weren't grateful, or maybe you didn't understand how good you had it. It's like one of those things, how they say, like, you never know what you got till it's gone. Well, don't let it all evaporate, sis, and go to shit before you start to learn to appreciate things, doll. Okay? And so next is the law of relativity. Everything is relative. Nothing is inherently good or bad. It's all about perspective and comparison. This is all about how you apply meaning to things. And I promise you, this is a law I used to break, especially dwelling in the old self concept, especially, operating how I used to operate, flames of hell, sis. So you get the perspective, like, seriously. I didn't even realize I was breaking this law because I used to live in fear. I used to live in fear, doubt, illusion. I used to live in shame. I used to live in feeling like I wasn't good enough. I used to live in lack. Okay, lack. I lived in lack mindset still, even when I was making like damn near like, like 70,000 a year, back when my channel, was like, on my main channel, like when I did like drama and stuff, content or whatever, and I still had the lack mindset. And guess what? My life ended up reflecting that. Absolutely not. When things happened, and when things have tended to happen, like when I've gone through my own negative cycles in my life, I can almost 1000% guarantee you one of the ways I instantly like went wrong is by assigning bad meaning to those things. And assigning bad meaning before they even materialize. Meaning I would get an email, or I would get when I was dealing with the hate campaign, see one video or something, I would immediately say, this is bad, I need to get on it. I would assign a narrative to it before it even materialized. Somebody would be like, oh, someone mentioned you on Twitter. And what am I doing? I'm going on to Twitter and I'm arguing and all this dumb shit. I'm blowing it up before it can even materialize into anything. And it was a completely separate platform. You know what I mean? But I'm the one bringing my awareness, my energy, my meaning, my purpose, my everything to it to blow it up and monetize it and make it more than what it was. So stupid. And like, I get it. And this is what happens when you don't regulate your nervous system and you do not practice healthy emotional regulation. Because if things are able to emotionally hijack you, like captivate your awareness away from your inner state and your inner peace and your inner being and make you spiral, guess what, sis? Your nervous system is not stabilized, okay? You need to practice both nervous system regulation and your emotional regulation, and you need to stabilize your being, which it should always be prioritized. Like, I mean, it's just you. So you should always stabilize first, regulate first. Nothing is ever going anywhere. We are ever abundant in all ways, okay? So that person you're worried about, that career you're worried about, that amount of money you're worried about, that social media platform you're worried about, Though you're a person who wants babies. I used to speak against myself and assign all kinds of narratives when I was diagnosed with fibroids. And isn't it so fascinating, and I need to share this story soon, but isn't it so fascinating how I was diagnosed with fibroids like almost 10 years ago, and now like I'm going through this thing, which I will tell you guys this probably on my main channel, where they're like dissolving, which it's a unique process. It came to me by surprise. I did get a little scared, but I'm smarter now to not give into fear or anything like that. But I ended up having a healthy child. I ended up having a healthy pregnancy. My fibroids never caused any issues when I was pregnant. I was completely fine, right? And so it's like, wow. But like when I was literally in my mid-20s, I told myself I'm never going to be able to oh, I might not have kids. Oh, I'm probably going to be this age. Oh, I hope. I was blessed enough to not allow the narratives to manifest so bad to where I manifested myself into complete infertility, because that could have happened if I kept feeding my mind that looping bullshit. That's what happens. That's how it manifests in your life. But when I finally like kind of let it go and stopped caring, and this is just how our world is, I started seeing positive change. And now I've had a spurt of some positive change. I need to make a video about that. This is the thing about me filming, but that's like dissolving, and that's what happens. Like things that you no longer identify with, things that no longer bother you or anything like that, they will literally dissolve and collapse out of your reality because you are in a different state of being. So imagine if when all of these things happened to me, imagine if I had never applied them bad meaning. Imagine if I had remained indifferent and didn't allow myself to get negatively all upset emotionally, or allow it to take me outside of myself, or allow it to completely like emotionally like wreck me and wreak havoc on my nervous system. Imagine, right? So that's why the nervous system regulation is imperative, especially if you're a traumatized girly and you've gotten so used to living in fight or flight for years and you don't really know another way of life, but you're trying your best. It starts with self-concept, nervous system regulation, and identity, okay? So prioritize those things, all right? And as things unfold and as things happen, do not give them meaning. You don't have to. If it gives you more peace to just continue centering on self and letting everything fall to the wayside while you unplug from every single dynamic, sis, trust, okay? Whatever makes you feel better, okay? Whatever floats your boat, do that. And then number 10 is the law of polarity. Everything has an opposite, light and dark, hot and cold, love and fear. Contrast helps you choose and grow. Exactly. So I also believe that it's becoming more and more obvious how the laws of the universe are also reflecting the type of lives we're living, right? You know, if you're dwelling in a very low self-concept, in a very low vibrational state, you operate at a very low frequency, you're a very negative person, very angry person, very bitter person, very hostile person. Don't be a violent person, okay? But you're just like all of the negative vibes. Like if you're that kind of a person, well, are you really surprised your life looks the way it does? Like when you really sit and look, because this is about accountability, you guys. Like when we sit and do the mindset and the manifestation work, when we sit here and we actually dedicate ourselves to elevating and creating this change and being better than anything we've ever even seen or even experienced before, this starts with accountability. If you can look around your life and see the bullshit, you can only blame one person, okay? And this does not mean you are a bad person. We just talked about giving things good or bad meaning. This does not mean that you're a bad person. This doesn't mean that you're too broken to be fixed. This doesn't mean any of those other limiting, shameful ass beliefs. It's just a learning experience. You're human. You fucked up. We all do at some point in time in our lives. It doesn't make you this awful person because you fucked up. What does matter though is what you do with the knowledge and trying to trace, where you fucked up at, and build off of, okay, where did I go wrong? How did I go wrong here? Who was I being? What was I thinking? Do I have, beliefs from childhood that could be in relation to this? Well, maybe I remember when my therapist said this, because me being in therapy and doing all the things, like, the video that I made, showing you guys, like, all the things I did to help improve my mindset. Girl, when I tell you dots started connecting and I started being able to, like, this is why I loved journaling, and having like my mindfulness sessions and talking to my therapist, because I'm like, hey, I remember when you said this and I journaled this and I just had this memory and da 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 da. I promise you will start to have rapid clarity, rapid fire. You will. Doing this work sometimes I know can be a bit jarring. And I know, like, digging deep down to heal and becoming whole again, especially if you've lived a life trauma after trauma after trauma, and you feel like you're trembling and you feel like you're like going through it, girl, and it feels never ending and all this shit, right? Like, you can make your way out of it, and you can figure this out, and you can get good at it, and you can change your mindset, and you can elevate and evolve and manifest a beautiful, amazing, abundant, healthy life for yourself. You can totally do it. For sure. My ass did it. That's why I am making these videos. Because I'm like, you know what? I said, I did this. I did this. I did this. I said, oh shit. So I was like, I'll make my video. I'm like, shit. I was just going to start this as like a passion project, but then it's like I started really looking in the mirror, and even me continuing to remember who the fuck I am and who the fuck I was, especially as the goddess of my reality. And I'm like real talk. I'm like, oh no, someone cooked here, like for real, like like dead ass, like someone cooked here. Because even when I look at old photos and videos of myself, oh my god, which I cringe at them all. It's like, girl, like the essence hits different. And it's like, I cannot relate to her. She was too busy being all pissed off in her fucking pink ass house. You know what I mean? Like, why was she doing that? Like, sis, you had beauty that you lived in. You could have made your day happier in any way, shape, or form, but you were still so focused on the bullshit that you couldn't see the beauty that you were literally like living in. You know what I mean? Even though, yeah, like it was a bit of an isolating experience, it's like low key, I had worked really hard on my apartment and made it beautiful. And it's like, imagine if I had shut all that noise out and just really like focused on self and not like all of the outside noise and things. I would have changed my life even right then and there. But the best thing is that I dedicated myself to discovering change, like, discovering Dylan James's channel and all of that. So it's like the law of polarity, you're going to see those different extremes from when you are dwelling in a low self-concept and you're manifesting all the negative bullshit and the negative dynamics and to where you ascend and you elevate and people are positively reflecting you back and they're positively responding to you, and your life is more and more positive and beautiful as it's always been meant to. Okay, y'all, seriously, taking the time to do this work, I promise you will see it. Then law number 11 is the law of rhythm. Life moves in cycles. It always does. There are highs and lows, seasons and flows. Trust the rhythm and stay in sync. Exactly. And the law of rhythm is also all about staying balanced and staying whole within. If you are able to move through the ebbs and flows in life, but you remain unmoved, okay? If I remain unmoved, my reality has to move, okay? And flow through and allow in the next cycle and allow in the next wave. If I remain moved by my reality, then that will lock said reality in place, okay? If you are able to master yourself, okay, I'm talking about your emotions, your awareness, your nervous system, everything. If you can master yourself to a point of being unmoved, unwavered, then congratulate yourself. You have unlocked one of the biggest secrets of life, because that means you have stillness. You have inner fulfillment. You have inner peace. Nothing moves you. There's nothing outside of you. And you are finally aware of that. So when the ebbs and flows come, guess what you can do? Guess what you can do? You don't have to assign it bad meaning. You don't even have to give it good meaning. But you can remain still, and you'll have the clarity as how to move through it. And you're probably going to get over things a lot faster. And you're probably going to move through things a lot better, and just in a much more healthier, more balanced way than you used to, right? Which is another reason why I worked on myself, because I did not want to be operating like how I used to, raising my baby. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't want to do that. And I was determined to be a better person, even if everything and everyone at the time around me wasn't. I didn't give a fuck. I'm like, well, I'm gonna go be a better person. I don't care about any of y'all. Like, literally, like, wow, like, I'm gonna go figure all this out, and I don't care what any of y'all do, say, but I'm gonna go figure it out. I'm gonna go make my life better, so that, you know, my kid can have a chance and not grow up like how I felt. Because I knew what growing up in those dynamics with, you know, not only my parents, but other family members, and just other toxic dynamics all around me, even from childhood, traumatic events even, did to my psyche, did to my being, did to my spirit. And when I finally released all of that and did this work, I promise you that stillness, that fulfillment, that peace, it flows and it transforms everything in your life. So it makes me so confident, and it makes me so happy that now I know that even if I do face challenges in the future, or even as my child gets older and my children get older and they face their own challenges and they need guidance, I can remain still and guide them in the right direction. And that's so much more than what I even had growing up. And I am just blessed, right? Like, this is why we do this work. I believe that everybody has the will to want to be a good person. I do believe that. But sometimes it's the how that people get tripped up on, which is why you can never stop trying. And last but not least, the law of gender. Everything has masculine and feminine energy. Creation comes from the balance and dance between the two. So, you know, we all have masculine and feminine energy embodied within, and obviously we have men and women, right? However, balancing your feminine energy and your masculine energy within, it's all about being able to balance the two within before you even reflect anything or attract anything from out. Which I can tell you, since my ascension, especially with me doing this mindset work, my complete concept of men has changed. Like, my complete understanding dynamics with men. Like, I actually, I'm blessed for this, and I am grateful for this. I finally know, and I actually do recognize who and what a divine masculine is, and what he embodies and what he values. And most importantly, I have finally discovered what he feels like. A divine masculine will never give you karmic energy. And I'm talking about divine from the start. Divine from the start. Now, of course, in order to attract someone of such magnitude, you have to be embodied already. You cannot attract something that you aren't, right? So you already have to be the embodiment of all there is, goddess of your reality, you know, living in your divine feminine, honoring your divine feminine, honoring self, loving self, prioritizing self, you know, praising self, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I am relieved because, I've had some recent experiences that I'm very blessed and I'm very grateful for. Like, yes, I've been dating, and yes, I've been having some beautiful experiences, but not only have I noticed men reflecting my new self-concept and my elevated identity, and just like they're reflecting my ascension, they're reflecting my being, which thank God, as they should. But a divine masculine hits different. The man is like a literal breath of fresh air from the start. Karmic energy rushes in and wants to like take your clothes off, and like, you know, you think it's all passionate, you think it's all hot, but it's bullshit. And see, I used to think that karmic energy was love. So I thought it was cool when in the past, ooh, don't take me literally, universe, but I used to really think it was cool in the past when I would meet a guy and we would hit it off and we would rush into everything, because I'm thinking like, oh, this is passion, this is love, this is like movie type shit. Like, yeah. My ass didn't know. And it really didn't help that I used to be attracted to like the whole bad boy type. Oh, child, please. So I'm over here thinking I'm living, you know, my best Scarface life. Like, bitch, I ain't ashamed to be honest about it. Like, let's just spill tea. I literally, from ever since I was a little girl, because I used to think that was love. And even my my very first relationship, it started off like, you know, me kind of teasing, you know, my very first boyfriend, and like did not. But once him and I got together, and we stayed like this for about 5-6 years, to where we're even still friends today. Now we're still casual friends or whatever, but like I always thought that the whole like once we hit it off, we're hot and heavy and blah 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 blah. And this is also not to disregard people who have had those relationships and then they end up being healthy. I'm just a person to where I've experienced way too many karmic relationships. I've experienced more karmic relationships than I have genuine relationships. And that's just, you know, that's just the truth. I've experienced more men who just want to rush in, do whatever. Or I experience men who, once they get me, they want to control me and keep me to themselves and like not allow me to be myself, because they feel like if I leave, shit's gonna get fucked up, and it's like it makes me want to leave anyway, because like I don't want to stay with that energy, because that energy is fucked up, and it just like makes me upset, right? Or it used to, right? But ever since balancing myself within, I've been attracting in a lot. But I'm telling you, that divine masculine is like a literal breath of fresh air. And there's a stillness to him. There's a stillness, a patience, and a level of respect that the masculine has. And it's all in honor of the feminine. Like, you know what they say when they say real recognizes real? That is the kind of connection you will experience when you are actually in the presence of a true, divine, balanced masculine. Not a wounded masculine who just wants to hook up with you, maybe treat you nice for a while, but then it's like his ego gets in the way, then his pride gets in the way, then his insecurities get in the way. God, the insecurity, child, I just can't, And one thing to never allow, and this is like totally aside from the laws of the universe, but this is something that I used to do in past relationships, and I honestly like almost resent doing this. Don't allow someone else's insecurities to make you insecure about yourself, to where you're dimming your own light to appease someone else. You're dimming your own truth, your own being, your own nature to appease someone else. The divine masculine would never even put you in a situation like that, because he's secure within himself. He knows who he is. He's aware of who he's being. When you are in the presence of your actual divine masculine, it's going to be like a direct mirror, and it's going to be a beautiful thing. You're going to feel like you're looking in the mirror, even though you're looking at a different face. But it's all about being. It's all about energetics and spirituality, you guys. It really is. So I really hope you all enjoyed my 12 laws of the universe, video, the part 1 and 2. And this stuff goes so deep. That's why I keep throwing in examples from my life, because I don't care. And really, like, once you start applying this stuff and you start living it every single day, I promise you, you're going to see the change. You just absolutely will. You have to. It's law. See y'all in the next one. Mwah.